Almost a year after King Von's sad passing, the story of how it happened remains to be a little bit cloudy. A lot of questions remained unanswered until today. Here's everything that happened the day King Von passed, with exclusive information shared from the people that were with him on the day it happened. So the day starts in Atlanta. Atlanta is home of the best recording studios. It's the best way to record with other rappers to get features done. It's simply the rap mecca of the entire world. Most rappers live out there, but it's also sadly where the most crimes happen that involve rappers. Now, King Von was out in Atlanta on November 6th. He was celebrating the release of his newest album, Welcome to O Block, with a select few friends, family members, and business partners. Now, this was just at a standard nightclub. It was casual stuff and nothing was seeming to go wrong. Now, King Von and the regular people he rolls with from O Block, they all rented an Airbnb out for the night, as nobody really knew how long the celebration party would last. So while at the album release party, it was said by people that were there that King Von, he was not himself on that night. He was acting very strange, he was moving a little funny, and he was on his phone a lot. Now, this could have been due to the fact that he got word mid-party that Quando Rondo was at a different club nearby. Now, King Von and Quando Rondo, they were good friends in the music industry for almost a year. Now, this was until girls got involved. One of the rappers was apparently hanging out with the other's ex-girlfriend and things in that nature. But at the end of the celebration party, King Von heads into his SUV with a driver and one other person. Now, usually King Von rolls with 3 security as well as all of the boys from O Block, but tonight, that was a different story. After the celebration party, they all started driving to the Airbnb. Halfway to the Airbnb, King Von tells his driver to turn the car around and go to a lounge called Monaco. Everybody else that King Von was with at the celebration party, they continued driving to the Airbnb because King Von did not tell them to go to Monaco. Everybody thought they were all gonna meet up at the Airbnb and figure out what's next while at the house. Now, at this lounge called Monaco, Quando Rondo just so happened to be there in the parking lot taking a nap in his McLaren. It's still unconfirmed whether or not this was a coincidence, them meeting up there, but I don't believe it was. When arriving to the lounge, King Von sat in his SUV for 20 to 30 minutes while just doing stuff on his cell phone. Not speaking to anyone, he was just sitting there, silent on his phone, which is very unlike King Von. After arriving at the lounge and sitting in the parking lot, when the rest of King Von's security and the boys from O Block met up at the Airbnb, they all wondered where Von was. So they ended up calling the man in the SUV that was with Von. The guy said, "You gotta get over here quick. King Von's acting very strange, doesn't know what's going on." That's when the boys from O Block and the security, they end up going immediately over to the Monaco lounge. It's kinda crazy, you see all of these massive SUVs pulling into the parking lot one by one. It was honestly crazy to watch. One of King Von's boys then scout out Quando Rondo. He then goes and tells King Von where he's at. King Von's then seen on surveillance footage hopping out of his SUV, walking into the middle of the street where a white SUV was parked and had Quando Rondo standing beside it. Now, King Von and his crew, they start swarming Quando Rondo right in the middle of the street. And then out of nowhere, a brawl breaks out. King Von and Quando Rondo, they're going at it in the middle of the street. No firearms were being used or anything. This was until Lil Tim, Quando Rondo's best friend, hops out of that white SUV, pulls out a firearm, and starts using it to defend Quando Rondo in the brawl that he's having with King Von. Now, with the sound of the firearm being used in that area, there was undercover cops parked down the street and they started creeping up to the location. When pulling up to the location, the undercovers, they start lighting up the area. They were not even looking where they were using their firearms. It was described as a war zone in the middle of the street, Firearms are being used from all over the place. People are ducking, running behind cars. There is so much going down, and still with everything happening, King Von and Quando Rondo were still out in the middle of the street having a brawl. This was until King Von's friend Muop then runs over to Von. He knocks Quando Rondo right out of the way. He then grabs King Von. He helps him get into the getaway vehicle. Sadly, in the getaway vehicle, they didn't get to the hospital in time, but one man that was inside the getaway vehicle with Von that night says that King Von, in that situation where he needs immediate medical attention, was the calmest person in the car. King Von at that moment was telling everyone in the car to calm down, that he's gonna be good and he'll get through it. But sadly, in the process of being in the getaway vehicle, he ended up passing. It's such an unfortunate event, and it's one that definitely could have been avoided. Many people wonder where Lil Durk was on the night that this happened, and people even went at Durk for not being there for King Von on that night. And what you guys need to remember is that King Von and Lil Durk are legally not allowed to be beside each other or in the same area. Lil Durk and King Von are involved in a court case from a couple of years ago that involves them two allegedly using a firearm and someone being affected by it. Due to how severe the court case is, the judge of that case ended up granting that King Von and Lil Durk have a restraining order against each other. The judge wants them two to stay separate from each other and not even be in the same room. Trust me, if that did not happen, Lil Durk would have been beside King Von on the day it happened, and I actually think the whole situation would have been avoided. Lil Durk is definitely a rapper that there is more to living the street type of lifestyle when you become a rich, successful rapper. You're making life-changing money each and every single day as a big name rapper, and Lil Durk knows that now. But as said by King Von's manager, who was standing beside King Von on that night, when King Von has an issue with someone, he deals with it. He doesn't just let it sit there around and let things blow over. King Von's the type of guy where if he has a situation or a problem with you, he's gonna deal with it like a man and how he wants to. It's just a real shame on how things ended up ending. I don't believe that even Quando Rondo wanted it to end like that either. But you never really know until all of that information comes out, and when that information does, I'll be sure to make a video about it. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you're new. It has been District Trending, and I'm out. Peace. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you check out our latest videos here on the end screen, or go to our channel and just check out our latest videos.